What is going on, guys? I hope that this is finally the video and that I record everything that I want to record about cornering, because for whatever reason I have been super lazy about making this video, and I have no idea why. I honestly have no idea why. I have a bunch of videos that I want to do, and for whatever reason this one was not giving me issues. Just I don't know what it is. I think it's just me. I'm getting over being sick, and all kinds of weird stuff been going on. But today we're going to be talking about cornering, and you know, I guess before we get too in depth with it, let's just kind of talk about what the whole idea is. Now, if you see my one video, we talked briefly about, you know, lean equals risk. The more risk you have is whenever you lean the bike over more. So the whole idea between cornering is how can we minimize that risk as much as we can. And the easiest way for us to do that is to go as straight as we possibly can through a curve. Now, you know, if we're looking at a graph or a road, you know, we see the turn, and there's a way that you can go through that turn as straight as possible. So whenever you do that, you're obviously reducing your amount of risk because you're not leaning the bike over as much. So, you know, just keep that in mind. Generally, that's the idea. So we do that in a bunch of different ways. You know, a lane position is the first thing. You know, you want to be in the right lane position before you even get into the turn. You want to be in the right gear before you get into the turn. You want to be hitting the right speed before you get into the turn. And all that really comes down to is looking ahead. How far are you looking ahead? Because, you know, you have to be looking at least 12 to 13 seconds ahead of you. You know what I mean? Because you might have to adjust. You might be coming through that turn and a little bit off this side. As you're looking through the turn, you see that there's a dead animal or something, and you have to change your lane position. You have to be able to look through the turn. You have to be able to see far enough ahead into the turn. So you know, before we get too in depth, let's talk about what to do if you come into a turn too hot. And we're going to get going because I'm getting warm. So, you know, before we really get into, you know, cornering and all that stuff, let's talk about what happens if you come in a little too hot. So that's very easy to do. And you know, I think a lot of that comes with experience. You know what I mean? I think that let me do this real fast. I think a lot of that, you know, kind of comes with experience. You know, looking ahead and paying attention to signs and, you know, things like that, which we're going to discuss a little bit more. But, you know, hey, what do you do if you actually come into the turn too hot? Now, I'm going to tell you two different things because I kind of do two different things. There's what I do, and then there's like the right way to do it. So what I usually do whenever I come into a turn is I'll take power away from the rear wheel, and you know I do that by holding in the clutch. You know what I mean? Or even just a little bit. And I don't think that's necessarily wrong, but it depends on when you do it. Like, if you come into a turn and you're already like in through the turn, and you know now you're realizing that you kind of screwed up, it's kind of too late for that. I mean, in that situation, what I would do is I would apply the brakes, the front brakes or rear brake, front and rear brakes, because generally that's what you're supposed to do. Whenever you come into a turn too hot, you know what I mean, there seems to be like this stigma that, you know, you can't, you know, use your brakes whenever you're going through a turn, and that's not true at all. That's what trail braking is. You know, you're coming into this turn, let's say we're coming into this turn, right? We're applying the brakes, steady brake pressure. It's not a lot. You don't need a lot of brake pressure to start getting that bike to slow down. Remember, whatever you do with your bike, however fast you put the impulses in with your bike is how fast it's going to behave. So you never want to do anything jerky. You always want to be nice, smooth actions, you know what I mean? So you're brake, off the brake. You see what I'm saying? You know, if you were in that turn and leaned over and you realize I fudged up, and then you grab on the brakes, you know, that's going to, what's that going to do? That's going to load all the weight to the front of the tire, and then that's going to cause you to high side. And you know, you don't want to do that. So, you know, if you ever come into a turn too hot, you know, the best thing to do, what I like to do is I'll hit the you know, the clutch and the brake kind of at the same time. You know, the best situation is just to get rid of that completely, and the best way to do that is looking ahead, paying attention to your signs. I understand roads sometimes just come up on you. That does happen, you know what I mean? But, you know, I'm going to make a future video how to go fast safely, and in that video I'm going to be talking about, you know, I never go, like, I go fast nowadays, but I only go fast on roads that I know. You know, I'm not riding like an asshole on roads that I've never been on. These roads here, I've been on them multiple times. I know the layout of the road. I know how it works. You know what I mean? I know what to expect. Sometimes I'll even do a pass through that road real quick just to make sure. Like here, see the sign that's pointing? It's telling you that there's a sharp turn ahead. So, you know, looking ahead and being able to see that stuff is definitely going to prevent you from even getting in that situation to begin with, if that makes any sense. Now we're going to start getting a little bit into cornering, and I guess before we get into cornering, I think it's important to talk about your body position. So body position, I think, is really important, because, you know, you're on two wheels. If you think about it, you have two contacts, this on the front and this on the back, and that's your center of gravity. You know, that's what we're talking about whenever I keep on saying center of gravity. So you want to keep everything as balanced as you can. So for me, my legs are tucked on the gas tank, my feet are pressed up against the bike with my tippy toes, or the balls of my feet rather, on the pegs. When I need to brake, I can move up, I shift, I put them back. When I need to brake, I do that. Very rarely do I cover my rear brakes. I just don't, because, well, I'll be honest, I use my front brakes, you know, probably 98% of the time. So, you know, that's that. But you want to keep yourself, you know, centered and balanced. You know, you want to, with the Ninja 650s, you know, how the gas tank is set up, it's different than other bikes. But a lot of other people say, you know, a fist. You put a fist down in your crotch area, and that's how much space you want to have between you and the tank. For me, that's pretty much being all the way, my tailbone being up against the passenger seat of the bike. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm pushed back. My legs are tucked in. The balls of my feet are up against the on the pegs, pressed up against the bike. There's a little metal piece that I'll take a picture of, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. You know, and you just want to be like as in the bike as possible. The other thing that you want to be aware of is where where that push is on your handlebars. So you know that, you know, you got to push in the direction that you want to go once you start going over 20 mile an hour or whatever it is. an interesting thing can happen. It's kind of like that physics, if you remember physics class, where there was a block of wood and they were pulling it with a rope, and the rope's attached to the block of wood towards the center of the block of wood, and if you pull it straight, you know, there's the math, there's all the stuff, okay? Well, whenever you take and you pull, let me do this, whenever you take that string, but now you're pulling it at an angle, that angle theta is distributing the force, right? So now you have an X and Y component to the force, or the magnitude of the force. What I'm getting at is the easiest way to push the bike is off the side of the bike, right? Off the side of the bike. So an interesting thing happens whenever you're riding down a hill. Let's say you're going down a hill and have a curve. Now you're kind of pushing, I'm going slow, you're kind of pushing up towards here, right? Because you're locked in and you're going and you're still doing the same motions. So whenever you're doing that, I noticed, because this is how I noticed it, I would be taking these rides, and whenever I would, you know, hit these down turns or whatever, I'd be like, man, it seems a little weird. It's like I gotta push harder, and I am having to push harder because I'm pushing down and over. I'm not just pushing over, I'm pushing down and over, and that can dramatically affect, you know, how you push that bike, you know. So they always say, you know, whenever you're riding, you know, you don't start up here and go down, you're down here, you know what I mean? So you're down and you're kind of pushing the bike, you're looking through the turn, you're turning your head is parallel or perpendicular. I don't know which word you want to use. I guess I'm using perpendicular because the road's like this and the symmetry of your head is that way. So that's why I use perpendicular. I guess parallel is another, I don't know, it doesn't matter, whatever you want to use, just as long as, you know, your chin is flat with the road. If you got to turn, your chin is flat with the road and you're always looking through the turn. So, you know, whenever you're coming through these turns and all that, just be aware of where you're at, you know, with the palms of your hands. Do you know what I mean? Because like I said, you know, if you're coming down a hill and you have a sweeping turn, you're going to be down, but you're going to be pushing up and down, which is going to take away some of that force in the X direction, right? Because you have that little theta there. And we're going to stop. Which way do I want to go? I'll go straight. I'm not entirely sure where straight is, but straight's the way we're going. The barn at Madison. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about, you know, actual cornering. I talked before about lane positioning and looking ahead. You know, whenever you're coming into a turn, the whole idea, like I said, is to minimize that risk, and the way that you minimize that risk is to go through that turn as straight as possible, right? So with this one, this isn't a good example, but I'm on the outside, apex on the inside, or I don't want to word that, inside, middle, outside. Yeah, there we go. Just so there's no ambiguity, because sometimes, you know, you say left, right, center, that's different for other people who ride on the other side of the road or whatever. But like with this turn here, right, let's say it's a blind turn, so I wouldn't necessarily want to be over there. I want to be out here looking through the turn so I can see apex to the middle and come out and accelerate, sorry. But I want to be able to see through the turn. Blind turns are interesting. So like this one here, I don't want to be over there, I want to be over here, one, so I can really get on this turn and look as much as I possibly can through that turn. You want to make yourself as visible as you can for other riders, and you want to be able to see. You know, for this turn here, again, we're going to be on the inside, you apex, and you come out the outside and turn on the inside again. You know what I mean? So, you know, cornering's pretty simple for the most part. You know, I think a lot of it has to do with the man, that guy got a lot of grass to cut, but boy does it look good, and that is really satisfying to see. And it smells really good too. But what was I saying? I was talking about something. Cornering is, you know, I think a lot of it is you know, a mind over matter thing. You know, you definitely want to be as safe as you can, and you know, the biggest thing to do with that is just to keep looking ahead. You want to keep looking ahead, because look, this road sucks right now. Look at this, right in the middle of the road. I wouldn't want to run that over. Now we got a divot in the middle of the road. So you want to be able to look ahead of the road, get in the lane position that you want to be in, and have enough room to adjust if need be. You know what I mean? Because you could be coming down a blind sweeping downhill turn, and in the middle of the road there'd be a dead animal that you don't want to run over. You know what I mean? So I think with whenever it comes to cornering, you definitely want to be able to look ahead to see exactly where you're going, and pay attention to these stop signs that come up on you rather quickly, and practice aggressive braking. Appreciate you, brother. See, you know, things can happen really fast, and you know, you got to ride at your comfort level. You know, here we are, we got a turn, but look what's in the middle of this turn. There's something that I don't want to hit. A poor dead, I don't know what that was. It was a mangled mess. So you just you got to adjust. Get my bearings real quick. Say it came a little hot, so I'm braking, I'm off the brake. You know what I mean? I had the clutch pulled in and I was braking at the same time, just to slow myself down. You never want to panic. If you panic, then you have done something, you're not prepared. Let's just be as, you know, blunt and honest as we can. If you panic and you don't know how to react, well, that's obviously what panic is. You don't know how to react. Then you're setting yourself up for bad situations, excuse me. So, you know, you definitely want to be able to practice, you know, your slow speed maneuvers, your fast speed maneuvers, and you ride at your own pace. I said it a million times, and I'm going to say it 1,000,001 more times. Riding a motorcycle is a single person sport. You are the only person who's going to pay for your guy. You know, he didn't want to hit that thing. Poor rabbit friend. Forget what I was talking about. It's a single person sport, right? You know, you're the only one who's going to pay for your actions. So, you know, we're paying attention. Hey, look at this sign. I need to be in a way lower gear. Now we're turning, we're pointing our head. Accelerate through the corner to stand that bike up. And yeah, you know, that's pretty much it. I hope that this is a decent video, and it's not over yet, so, you know, it's just I don't know what it was, man. There was just something about this that, I don't know, not that I was dreading, but I don't know. Usually it seems like whenever the devil fights you about stuff like that, that's the thing that you're supposed to be doing. So I do apologize for anybody out there who was actually looking forward to this video, because I do know that a couple of you guys actually do really enjoy watching, and you are curious about your bikes, because, you know, you're either just getting into your bike, or you're about to get, you know, your motorcycle, or you have it now and you're still a little iffy on things. So I do apologize to the few people who are looking more forward to this video than some other people. But, you know, as far as quartering, you know, you definitely want to be looking ahead and paying attention to what kind of turns you have coming up. You know, if you have a blind turn, you don't want to be on that inside where no one can see you, or where you can't see the road. You want to be on the inside. I keep saying inside and outside wrong, I think. You want to be, see him? You want to be in the lane position that allows you to see as much of the road as you possibly can. You know, and that only makes sense, right? That only makes sense. So yeah, you know, I think that's a pretty good start to it, you know. And I really just think that riding at your own pace is the biggest thing whenever it comes to cornering, whatever speed that is. You know what I mean? You will get very, very used to your motorcycle in a relatively short amount of time. You know what I mean? So if you're taking corners slower, that's fine. You know, you got to do what you got to do, and then you're gonna accelerate. You know, accelerate through your learning, and it's just gonna be a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? I think body position again is a huge thing. I don't have a stop sign, no. I think body position is a big thing. I'm trying to think of where I'm at. Probably wanted to go that way. And I know I didn't, you know, downshift and rev match correctly there. I actually got really good at it. It took me like 5 minutes to figure out how to do it. But yeah, lane position and looking ahead, I think, are the two most important things whenever it comes to your cornering skills. You know what I mean? And I gotta quit saying you know what I mean, because that gets on my nerves whenever I'm rewatching my videos and I keep hearing myself say, you know what I mean, you know what I mean, I know what I mean, and you know what I mean. Yeah, body position, and you know where you're at with your hands too. Like I said, I mean, that really is a pretty big thing. You know what I mean? And then just looking where you're going. You have to look where you're going. I want to take you guys on a roundabout if I can find one. So what I might do is I'm going to jump off here real quick, and I will be right back because I want to show you guys something. All right, we're back. So I wanted to take you guys to a roundabout because I kind of wanted to show you a couple things real quick. One, you know, what happens when you increase or decrease your speed, what that actually means as far as, like, you know, your radius goes, and just a couple other things. I'm sure I'll find some talking points in there. So here we got a nice little roundabout. Is this the one that I want to do? I think this one will work. I think any roundabout will work because it'll bring me in a circle. So, you know, with roundabouts, you know, pretty much all I want to talk about is, like, you know, the importance of maintaining steady throttle. You know, so all we're doing is we're maintaining steady throttle through here, and we're looking through the turn. You know, my head's not straight. If my head was straight, I would be like, here, look, we're already starting to run wide. We're maintaining steady throttle, and we're looking through the turn. Okay, so what happens if you increase your speed? Look, I increased my speed, I started running wide. Let's do that again. We're maintaining steady throttle, we're maintaining steady throttle. Let's increase. Look, we're running wide. Now let's do the same thing, but we decrease our speed. We decrease our speed, and we're going towards the center, right? Whenever we increase our speed, we increase the radius of the curve. Whenever we decrease our speed, we're decreasing the radius of that curve. So I'm getting dizzy, so I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. But the key thing I want you guys to keep in mind is, you know, I'm maintaining steady pressure and steady throttle all throughout the turn. So what gets people into trouble, I think, whenever they run wide in turns, is they end up running wide in turns as they continue to accelerate through the turn. Now what will happen when you do that Well, you just seen what'll happen if we're in a curve and we start increasing throttle. We're making that circle even bigger, so instead of being able to make the turn, we're starting to go straight. That's why whenever you come through a turn, you accelerate out of the turn, because that's going to tip the bike back over, right? So we're coming out here, bird. Not a very good one. Let's see if we can get a better turn. Might not be able to go too fast in these anyways, but you know, that's the idea. Whenever we make our turn, especially whenever we have like nice, you know, snake-like patterns, you know, we're maintaining throttle, we're looking through the turn, maintaining throttle, we're looking through the turn, we're looking through the turn, we accelerate, it picks the bike up, oh, then we get to whip it back down here. Does that make sense? Do you see what I did? So, you know, throttle control is a huge part of being able to have confidence with turns, you know, and you know, kind of taking a step back, body position in general. You know, we talked before about staying loosey-goosey. Do you remember that? Whenever we were talking, I can't remember what video it was. You know, you want to be loosey-goosey, man, people on my side of the road. You know, you never want, oh, you don't want to be straight up and try and do this and try and do that. No, you want it to be a nice fluid motion. You know, you're a water molecule going through a pipeline or something or another, right? Your nice fluid motion. Looking through, accelerate, decrease speed, setting up the turn, we're looking through the turn, accelerate when we see the outside of the turn. You only accelerate when you see the other end of the curve. Okay, so let's see if we can do some more here. You know, we're looking for ahead, we're seeing what lane we want to be in. This is blind, so I don't want to be over here, I want to be over here. Not a very good turn. Maybe this one will be a little bit better. We see that there's a stop sign, so we don't want to go crazy. So yeah, I don't know, I guess that's it for this one, but that's what I really wanted to show you with that that roundabout example back there. I know I didn't do it right again. I promise I know how to do it. Well, I got a stop sign, dude. I don't know what to promise. I have a fucking stop sign. Oh, go, go, go. People just tick me off sometimes. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just stopped. I mean, I legally had to. I don't know. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, Jelly Bean? But yeah, you know, I hope that this video can, like, you know, bring a little bit of light, or, you know, help some people out. I think the biggest thing is, you know, your body position, for one, is a big thing. And, you know, really looking ahead. You really got to look ahead. You really got to pay attention to what's going on. You know what I mean? And that other thing I was talking about with, like, you know, where you're at on your handlebars too. You know, that makes a huge difference. And, you know, also, you can do other things to help you go through turns. You know what I mean? For example, let me just stop here. This guy behind me. For example, whenever you're going through, you know, you can lead on one butt cheek and to the other. You know what I mean? Another thing that I learned how to do, and it's not really what I want to go over in this video, because it's more of a you know, you got to learn how to walk before you can crawl kind of deal. But you can make a turn without not pushing on the handlebars at all. And the way you do that is you shift your body position. So here, I'm not going to push on the handlebars at all. All I'm going to do is get off to the side of the bike, keep my head straight and flat with the road, and that's going to change my center of gravity, and that's going to turn the bike itself. So what that allows you to do is that allows you to go faster, because while you're doing that, you can also push a little bit. So instead of making this turn with, you know, a lot of pushing, you can do it with you know, leaning over and a little bit of pushing. Remember, the more you push, the more you lean, the more risk there is. So you kind of decrease your risk by doing that, you know what I mean? Again, what we're doing, we're getting our body over, we're looking through the turn, you know what I mean? I'm not even pushing, you know, I'm not even pushing on the handlebar. So, you know, that's another thing you can do. And whenever you start getting these techniques down and you start coupling them together when appropriate, you know, you can really make some beautiful things happen. You know what I mean? Practice your slow speed maneuvers is a must. And, you know, look through the turn your head, not your eyeballs. You're not doing this with your eyeballs. You're physically turning your head. You're pointing it in the direction that you want to go. And, you know, you obviously don't want to be going real fast and doing all this stuff, one, outside your comfort level, and two, without your tires being warm. You know, I personally don't really, you know, get on it, so to speak, until I've been riding for at least an hour or two. I know that's probably overkill. I just ride a lot, so, you know, knocking out an hour or two of riding before I really start getting into it isn't really anything, you know what I mean? Or not to me anyways. Actually, what I need to do is I need to get I don't need to get a better seat, I just need to get another cushion or something, because with how much I ride, it does kind of bother me a little bit. But yeah, look, we're not pushing, we're just getting our body position over, you know, we're switching that center of gravity and to help you assist the turn. But again, you know, I think that's more of a I don't want to say it's an advanced technique, because I'm not an advanced rider, you know what I mean? I'm still very much a beginner rider, and I don't claim to be anything else, but I just want to you know, I learned something interesting, and it's fun, you know, it's fun. But for right now with you guys, you know, if you found this video and you're just starting out, you know, look ahead, set up your lane position, stay loosey-goosey, you know what I mean, and ride at your comfort level. I think that's the biggest thing, you know what I mean. And also, again, practice, you know, braking in turns, you know, maybe look into trail braking. I don't think it's necessarily an advanced technique. Generally, the idea is, you know, you come in, you're braking as you're increasing your lean angle, you're decreasing brake pressure, essentially, because you're shifting that force that's on the front tire. There's a lot of good videos about this idea, about this topic, that, you know, you should check out, which I'm sure you are, because you are a smart, beautiful, intelligent rider that you are. And this is just one of 30 videos that you're watching whenever it comes to cornering and all that kind of stuff. So I might end this here. I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time. I really hope that this was able to help you guys out. You know, if I can help one person out or increase one person's you know, success with riding, you know, that's enough for me, you know what I mean. I don't do this for, I mean, honestly, I didn't even think I would get this many subs, to be completely honest with you. It just kind of happened. I don't really know why people watch, but they do. But then again, you know, why do I watch the people that I watch? You know what I mean? Why do I watch the Cody NYC? Well, I watch him because he's just an interesting character, and I enjoy, you know, his content. And you know, why do I watch Matt Underwood? He was one of the OGs that I found. Well, I found him because he had a white Ninja, and I like what the dude generally talks about. So I mean, I don't know, I can't remember what I was going on that rant about, but maybe we'll hit some turns and call it a day. I don't know how long this is going to be, Sugar Ray. Here, and then we're on the outside. Accelerate out of the turn. And there's all other kinds of turns too, man. There's sweeping turns where, you know, it's a steady, you know, continuous turn. That's kind of like what a roundabout would do. You would do the same thing, maintain steady throttle and look through the turn. Sometimes there's really sharp turns where you actually have to counterbalance. You know, counterbalancing is a must-have skill. I think you guys should look up if you don't know too much about counterbalancing or don't have a lot of practice with it. Check it out, because it's definitely important. Because all these things that you learn, not necessarily with your MSF course, but all these things that you learn in the parking lot and all that, these are all like tools that you're going to need, and you might not know when you're eventually going to need them. Sometimes it just comes right up on you. Like, you know, we were talking and I wasn't paying too much attention, and that stop sign came up really quick for me, you know what I mean? Sorry, I wanted to do that. See, like with that, I kind of took that a little too hard, and I maintained brake pressure, and I did, you know, have my have the clutch pulled in a little bit. So I don't know, it's all a learning experience, guys. I am not an expert. You guys know that I'm not an expert. I make that very clear from the get-go, but for whatever reason I pick up things pretty quickly, and I think that I can articulate them pretty nicely. That's the word of the day, articulate. I've been using that word a lot. Look how nice that is. Man, that's nice. I guess that just reminds me of another thing real quick before I let you guys go. And I don't really care how long this video is, because this is a long overdue video, and the people that actually wanted to know about cornering are excited for the, not that they're excited for this video, but they'd watch it all the way through. Is oh, I smell some pot. Oh, that smell. Target fixation is a big thing, and that's kind of what I was talking about with that group ride that I did, where it was really easy for me to focus on a rider and not on what's going on. So, you know, if you're, let's say you're going through a relatively gentle sweeping turn, and there's EMS or something pulled off to the side and they got flashing lights, and that catches your attention, and now you're paying attention to that, you will go, hey look, did you see I did it? You will go to wherever you're staring. So you kind of want to have like blinders, in the sense, yeah, you want to enjoy, oh look at all this beautiful stuff around, and enjoy it. It's a bike, you're on a bike, that's what it's for. But you also gotta like kind of shut that off so you can do what you gotta do. You know, you're doing that like hundreds of times throughout your rides, every other second. You know, hey, I'm enjoying, now I'm focused. Hey, I'm enjoying, now I'm focused. That's a pretty bike with all the saddlebags, now I'm focused. You know what I mean? So I don't know, I guess to bring it back one more time, because I think repetition is key, especially when it comes to learning. First and foremost, you ride your own ride. You understand that this is a single person sport, and you ride at your comfort level. 2, make sure you know how to get yourself out of sticky situations. If you come into a turn too sharp or too hard, you know what to do and how to handle that. 3, your body position, so where you're at with the handlebars, you're loosey-goosey, your back in the seat, your legs are tucked in, and your feet, I don't know if you can see, like my feet are tucked into that. I hope you can see, I don't know if you can. And you know, and I kind of keep on saying, you know, your knees are tucked in, because, and not that I'm trying to be a role model, I don't think of myself as that, but I kind of want to be cognizant of the fact that people do watch me. And you know, whenever I first started getting into bikes and all that, one of the things that I noted, one of the first channels that I watched was Max Wrist. That's who I watched. And whenever I got to my MSF course, any of the turning maneuvers that I would do, I would always stick out my leg, right? I was sticking out my leg like I'm, you know, like I actually had to. And my instructor pulled me aside and she's like, Matt, if you put your leg out one more time, I'm going to super glue it to the side of that tank. Keep your legs tucked in. We're maintaining our center of gravity with this. We're not going that fast. You know, we're not going that fast where we have to drag knee. You know what I mean? So, there was a point I guess that was the point. So, you know, I don't know. I actually can't remember what we were talking about. I've never been back here before either. Hey, look, an obstacle in the road. Ooh, that smell. Can you smell that smell? So yeah, you know, your body position, you know what I mean? And then whenever it comes to actual turns and you know how to get yourself out of sticky situations and your body position's good, you know, pay attention to your, what gear you're in. Pay attention to your lane position. Look ahead. You have to look ahead to be able to adjust. You might have to make a quick adjustment, you know what I mean? So look ahead so you can make these adjustments so you can set yourself up for success, you know what I mean? And yeah, you know, make sure you turn your head too. That's probably one of the biggest ones too, you know, turn your head. Whenever you're going in turns. Alright guys, I will officially let you go because who knows where I'm at or what's going on. Oh, this is a nice pretty road. Oh, and make sure your bike's up to par too, like your tire pressures and all that stuff. That stuff does matter too. Alright, so we have a light and I can officially let you guys go. I really appreciate you guys watching. Leave a comment down below. I do read the comments. I respond to like pretty much all of them, so I don't know how to like at somebody or whatever, like to make sure that they actually get it. So I do respond. So if you had something that you said before, chances are I did respond, you just didn't get notified, or you did and just didn't respond. I don't know what the situation is, but if you like the content, give me a like, give me a comment. Apparently people share, so that's pretty cool too. It just helps me know that what I am doing is good, and it helps people, and that's the whole idea of all this. So I will see you guys later. Warm hearts, warm roads, warm tires kind of thing. Oh, this is Greensburg. Oh, I was in second gear. I'll show you guys this building and then I'll let you go, which I probably said 500,000 times already. But that's alright. It looks kind of cool. I guess not really. Greensburg kind of sucks. Ooh, that smell. Can you smell that smell?